beautiful picture of our nation's capital here in the background. And I'm excited to be here in Washington, and I'm excited to be here in front of you, because this really is truly, in my humble opinion, an opportunity of a lifetime. I've spent the greater half of 2 decades now really teaching and training people how to be successful within the industry. And I can tell you this, there is no better time, no better company, and no better moment than the present for you to be listening to this opportunity here at Karatbars International. The person that invited you to this live stream cared enough about you, they thought enough about you to make sure that when all is said and done, more is done than said. You have an opportunity to set the example, not only for your family, but for your community, and then for generations to come. So hopefully you've had enough time to settle in. You've gotten used to our new norm, and you are in a place where you can hear some information, where you've got your comfortable virtual clothes on, whatever that may look like, and you are ready for just an amazing event. So as I begin to unpack this presentation, I want you to think about just a couple of things, and just think about where you are in life and where you want to be. I've been with Karatbars International now for just about 3 years. And within this time period, I've been able to climb to the top of the compensation model. I am a Gold Director Elite 3, which really doesn't mean much except that I enjoy helping people. All that title means is I enjoy helping people achieve their goals and objectives. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to unpack this opportunity called Karatbars. And by the end of this, you will have a better idea of what Karatbars offers, why it is such a timely opportunity, and again, why the person that invited you to this platform thought enough of you. So if you've been looking for a better way, if you've been thinking about how can you create your own personal stimulus package, then you've come to the right place and at the right time. So the question I have for you is, are you ready? See, most of us say that we're ready, but we're not necessarily ready. Why? Because we've forgotten how to dream. We've forgotten what it felt like to look at something, to imagine ourselves in it, whether that's the bigger house, whether that's the private jet, or maybe it's a villa. But we stopped dreaming because life has gotten in the way, because people that are unqualified have told us that you can't do that, you can't accomplish that, you need to just get back in line. But I'm here to tell you, our founding father of Wealth Builders Worldwide, a group within Karatbars, Mr. Ty Best, he wrote the book, The Dream Chaser Manifesto, and he told us that we've got to dream bigger and we've got to dream again, because once you start to dream things, then you start to put things into action and the universe will reward you. So it's time to dream bigger, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get back in the saddle and get our dreams in front of us. And let's just start chasing our dreams yet again. So what's your plan? What's your plan? Where are you in life right now? And where will you be in the future? The reality is, where you are today is because of what you've done 5 years ago. And where you'll be in the future will be determined on what you do today. See, most people think that their destiny is determined by their conditions. But I'm here to tell you that your destiny is determined by your decisions. And the truth is we don't have enough time to keep doing what we've been doing. You've got to make a decision now that today is the day that things will be different. See, as a financial advisor, I remember when I was learning and training to become a financial advisor with one of the world's largest firms, Merrill Lynch. They taught us something very early. They said there are 2 types of people in this world. There are people that earn interest and people that pay interest. And you have to decide which one you're going to be. And that was mind-blowing to me, because that was the beginning of my journey in learning that the wealthy have a different language that they speak than those of us who didn't grow up wealthy. See, most of us are familiar with this timeline, this matrix timeline that we're going to go through. We're taught to go to school, make good grades, and then we can get out and get a good job. And we understand that. So we start school at the right age of 5 years. And imagine this, when you're 5 years old, your parents turn you over to the school system. And now it's up to the school system to do most of the training. By the time you finish just 12th grade, you will have over 30 30,000 hours of programming. 30,000 hours of people telling you exactly who you are, what your personality traits are, what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, and maybe even what your potential may be. And so as a young person starting off, school is what really shapes us. So that's a very important part of our making. And so think about it like this. When we go through our timeline, we're taught after we go through the elementary school years, we go all the way through high school, and some of us then go on to college. Some of us start in the workplace. But regardless of what you do after you finish high school, here's the reality. You've got 40 years ahead of you of earning that paycheck. And so think about it. If you've got over 30,000 hours worth of programming, and maybe your schooling was different than mine, but just think about it. In all of those 30,000 hours worth of programming, did we have at least one class on financial literacy, one class on effective decision making, maybe one class on relationship management, things that every single one of us, irrespective of what our walk of life is or what path we take, these are things and skill sets that we're going to utilize. See, personally speaking, I'm still looking for an application for Algebra 2. I have no idea why I had to take algebra and then do it again the second time. I'm still looking for how do I apply that. But out of all of that schooling, it would have been great if somebody would have taught me the path for financial success. See, while I love my teachers and I love the school system, most of them were still working, hence why they were teachers. I needed to talk to people who were financially free, because those would be the people who could be qualified to teach me how to get to the next level. So after we retire at the good old age of 60 plus, 65, right? Now you've got to live off of all of that income that you stored up, and maybe they're paying you some portion back in Social Security, or maybe it's a 401k or some other retirement vehicle that's paying you. But here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. Modern medicine has got us living a long time now. You can retire at 65 if you want to. You still may live another healthy 20, 25 plus years. How is that money going to stretch for that long? See, nobody talks about that. And the biggest reality is not only are you going to live, but at some point, you're going to have to deal with the healthcare system. You're going to have to understand that there's no such thing as a plane that doesn't come in for a landing. So here in the States, where people have private subsidized in medical insurance, that's not provided for everybody, you've got to come out of pocket for some expenses. Top 2 causes of bankruptcy in our country, here in America. Number 1 is loss of income. We all can appreciate what happens there. But the second leading cause of bankruptcy is medical bankruptcy. Medical bankruptcy. And why is that so critical? It's because every single person will go to the hospital at some point in his or her life. And the only way that you can get around that is if you just die first. So if you know that you're going to have to go to a hospital, think about it like this. How much does a heart attack cost in a hospital? Do you know? Nobody knows, because you've never seen a price list on the wall. You never walked in and said, oh, wow, okay, heart attack. All right, I know exactly how much I'm going to have to spend here. How about a coupon? You ever got a coupon in the mail for a hospital bill, 50% off this month, right? How about a buy one, get one free? You know, we're giving out concussion remedies for free. Like we don't know how much things are going to cost, so therefore we're not financially prepared for it. But I can tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be prepared for the inevitable. At some point, you will not be able to show up to work for one reason or another. And regardless of how good your job is and how good you are at it, you cannot leave your kids your cubicle. So that's why so many people end up, after they retire, they go back to work. They have to, because they outlive the money. So we've got a plan for that. We've got a way to show you how to beat the matrix timeline. That's why we say you are in the right place and at the right time. But the reality is you have to be in the right circles. People have to show you these kinds of plans, because it's not intuitive. The school 40 and 40 plan is not really going to work. And so finally, here's what happens. After you finish school, you have to sit down and get to talk. Somebody tells you, well, I know you've got a great opportunity ahead of you, and I know you've been in school a long time, but here's the reality. You're going to have to go to school for 4 more years and then work until you die. And look at the face of this infant. I mean, if somebody told you that was the reality of the plan, how excited would you be? We've got the millennials now that are starting out into the workforce, and they're really trying to change the game. They're really saying, listen, this system, I don't see it. So first of all, the millennials may not even want to move out of the house. They're saying, hey, it's cheaper to stay right here and get my business plan together. So we have to start evolving in our thinking, because the reality is you can't really outgrow exponential inflation with linear income. And that's really sort of how we've been trained to think. We've been taught to just go to work and work harder and just keep digging deeper. And at some point, you will be able to financially prosper. And that doesn't really work. And think about it this way. You tell me if this is your situation, or you think about it. Most of us didn't have a nest egg from our grandparents that they passed on. Why? Because again, linear. Labor is linear. You can't pass that on. And so if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll have to work until you die, says Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor of all time. He understands one thing, and one thing clearly, is that you have to have leverage in order to become wealthy. And we're going to unpack that for just a little bit. Mr. Michael Delco, who is hosting this beautiful event that we're having here, that's really going to be life-changing for a lot of people. You're going to remember this day and this era. And Mr. Michael Delco says it best: if you don't find out what real money is, you're going to have to work until you die. Because the reality is you could actually have money, but you may not have real money. And we're going to unpack that and show you exactly what real money looks like. So the person that invited you, as I said, was excited to invite you to an opportunity like this. What is the definition of money? The definition of money is you have to work for something that's going to be a safe store of your labor. In other words, think of all of the jobs that you've had in your lifetime and you've gotten money for it. If you just saved every single dollar that you've earned, would it be more valuable? Would it have more purchasing power today than it did 10 years ago? If you hold it for 10 years in the future, will it have more buying potential then, or does it have more buying potential now? So the definition of money is defined as something that stores your labor. It must be worth your work. Okay, so think about it like this as we move forward. Here's a secret to success, and I'm going to tell you this as your unofficial financial advisor. There are 4 keys to building wealth, and these are the things that most people don't talk about. These are the areas that most people don't talk about. You have to create something that continues to generate income or revenue for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's called wealth. And a lot of people confuse wealth with riches. So let me break it down for you. Anybody can become rich. You can scratch a ticket, a lottery ticket, and you can become rich. Somebody can pass along a will to you, a trust, and you can become rich. But that is not becoming wealthy. Wealthy is creating riches systematically. And there's some components of generating wealth that you must abide by. And we're going to talk about this. So 4 keys to building wealth. Now that was a strong nugget. If you don't get anything else out of this, I want you to walk away understanding these 4 principles of building wealth. The first thing you have to do is create a passive, recurring, or residual income. You've got to make sure that even if you stop working, your income does not stop working. You've got to accumulate an asset. When you get paid, you've got to put your money into something that will continue to generate more money. See, the wealthy understand that money is a tool. And you know what that tool is used to create? Exactly. More money. Money is not designed for you to save it or to put it away. It's designed as a tool. No different than if you bought a hammer. Would you buy a hammer and say, well, I'm just going to keep this hammer and put it away for a rainy day in case I ever have to nail something? No, you get a hammer because you need to build something. So you have to get something that continues to build wealth, accumulating assets. The next thing you have to do is you have to outrun inflation. And then lastly, you have to utilize the tax code. The tax code is the silent income killer. Most people don't even understand what the tax codes are and how they can take advantage of it. But most people, even if you aren't a tax wizard, you understand one thing, that the government in most areas give advantages for business owners more so than they do employees. And so if they do that, if everybody's got an advantage, why isn't everybody a business owner? Well, we're going to fix that with this opportunity. We're going to show you exactly what you can do in order to fix that. Let's watch this video and we'll talk about it on the back end.
Where's all your money gone, Donnie?
Taxes. 9, 10, 11. Let me fix my houses.
Bug, it's okay. It's part of the game.
No, it's not.
It is.
Fun.
It's not fun to what?
It's the worst part of the game.
It's what?
Taxes.
Taxes out of the mouth of babes. Taxes could take as much as 40% of your income. And most of us are keenly aware of income tax. But just think about all of the varying taxes that we're subjected to. There's income tax, there's state tax, there's city tax, there's luxury tax, there's sales tax, there's income, there's federal. I mean, the list of taxes go on and on. So the idea is this: when we say here are the keys to building wealth, how many different ways do you get taxed? 4, 5, 7, 8, 10? Then compare that to how many different ways you get paid. It's no wonder why people are living check to check. It's no wonder why people are out here struggling. It's no wonder why when we have a hiccup like we have with COVID-19, that we now all of a sudden get the highest spike of unemployment, because people aren't prepared, because people are ready for just a job. And the reality is, once these taxes hit, once these surprises happen that we aren't expecting, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that? We have got the answer here at Karatbars. So it starts with understanding which part of the financial quadrant are you on. Robert Kiyosaki was the first person that brought this to the masses, this quadrant. And the quadrant is kind of designed to categorize which part of the workforce spectrum are you on. So the first part, where 90% of us land, is in the E quadrant, and that's the employee quadrant. 90% of us, we go to school and we aspire to get a great job, and then that becomes just the end of our quest. And then some of us get bright and we say, hey, you know what? I want to own a job instead of just having one. So we become self-employed, which is still on the left part of the quadrant. It's a better position to own your job, but it's still not a system. It's still not a way to necessarily generate wealth, because the reality is, if you are a solopreneur, or you are a person that is based on your effort is how you get paid, all the time is undefeated. So at some point when you stop working because you can't show up to cut the hair, or you can't show up to fix the cavity in the tooth, or when you show up, you can't show up to bake the cakes, the revenue stops, then all you really own is a job. You control the shots, but you still don't control the system that creates the income. So you've got to get to the other side of the quadrant, the other half of the quadrant. And the first part of that is when you own a business. A business is a systematic way, here's that word again, system, a systematic way of creating wealth. And then after you generated enough revenue or income, a residual or royalties, then you start to get into that sweet spot of the quadrant, the lower right side, which is the investment side. And this is where you start to put money to work for you. This is when you start to acquire assets. This is when you start to create a legacy for the next generation. So Karatbars has the answer to all four of those keys in order for you to start to build yourself a business, a system, and to create leverage that you can leave to the next generation. So let's look at that. The four keys that you have got to make sure you get, if you don't get anything else from this presentation, you need to spend the rest of your waking days trying to fulfill these four key areas. Karatbars has got the answer in one shot. We create residual, recurring, passive income. We allow people to acquire and accumulate assets. We help people outpace inflation and maximize the game of the tax code. That's it. Now, let me show you how we do that. The first thing you do is you're going to start your home-based business. Again, tax advantages come along with owning a business. It doesn't matter if it's home-based. It doesn't matter if it's virtual. You have to start a business. Then you're going to save gold for yourself. Now, you don't have to be a financial guru to be able to answer this question. Is gold valuable? Yes. Has gold had a historic value? Like 1,000 years ago, was gold valuable? Sure. 1,000 years from now, will gold be valuable still? Yes. So if you're going to save money, then you want to save in something that stores its value. Then you're going to share with others. And then here's the fun part. You get to earn as others share the same process. See, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a winning formula. And that winning formula is affectionately known as Karatbars International. Karatbars International was founded in 2011, headquartered in Stuttgart, Germany. We ship gold and we do business to more than 140 countries. 140 plus countries. And let me just tell you why that is significant. I hate to say it this way, but the coronavirus has really taught us a lot of things. And one of, I think, the most poignant lessons that comes from this is that globally, we are all connected. Globally, we are all connected. What I love about Karatbars is it connects the entire universe. Everybody, every country, every walk of life, every society understands the value of gold. So if everybody understands it and everybody knows that that's real money, then why doesn't everybody have it? Because everybody doesn't know about Karatbars International, but soon they will. Karatbars International, headquartered again in Stuttgart, Germany, founded by Dr. Harold Constantine Seiss, who we will have the pleasure of hearing on this live platform later. So if you would love to hear a living legend, if you would like to hear a world-renowned author, a person who's helping millions and millions of lives across the country, then you will join us. There's still, I think, some room in the seats at wbwevents.com. After we leave here, go there and register so that you will be able to hear Dr. Harold Seiss and others today. But Dr. Harold Seiss is the author of The Future of Money. He's the founder and CEO of Karatbars International. And I just want to personally thank him for creating this opportunity for not only myself, but for my family and my future family, the grandkids that I've yet to meet yet. I want to say thank you, Dr. Seiss. Dr. Seiss realized one thing, that he who owns gold always has money. His mission was to make sure that he created gold in small transactional friendly amounts so that everybody in the whole world can get access to it. Not everybody has the same currency or access to currency in their country. So we've got a plan that even if your currency is not strong, even if your financial position is not strong, even if your belief is not strong, you still have a vehicle here at Karatbars to gain access to a future that is guaranteed to create more assets and more value in the future, even than it does today. And so we want to say, thank you, Dr. Seiss. Thank you for this opportunity. Dr. Seiss realized, just like other financial leaders, J.P. Morgan said, gold is money, everything else is credit. Alan Greenspan, who was the former head of the Federal Reserve, he said, gold is always accepted, always accepted. So think about it this way. If you're in a country right now, not every country accepts another country's currency, but gold is always accepted. So if all of these brilliant minds are telling you that gold is money, then why don't you have it? Robert Kiyosaki said gold is God's money. Even more powerful, so why don't you have it? That is the one thing that you have to understand, that you have got to get your hands on some gold. That's how you secure your financial future. So here's our gold, cash gold. Cash gold is our product that can get shipped directly to you so you can get gold in your hands. It's secure, it's verified. Each cash gold card is equipped with a backlight authentication. So it shows that it's authentic, it's real, and it's genuine. It's physical. Not an ETF. Don't be fooled by some of these other platforms that say you can buy gold and have gold stored. Those are exchange traded funds. They're ETFs. It's not real gold. Karatbars will store your gold and ship your gold to you. And it can be digitized. We live in a digital world now. We understand these other applications where you can transfer money digitally. Well, what if you could transfer the value of your gold? And then lastly, convert it. Oh, Dr. Harold Seiss and Karatbars International has done it again. They've made it so not only is the digital gold digital and transferable, but it's convertible. And what do I mean by that? That means you can trade for goods and services, the cash gold, and you can convert it into cash. So you can get your gold and turn it into cash if you need to. If that washing machine is broken, guess what? Maybe you exchange your cash gold and get that washing machine fixed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exciting. That is exciting. Why? Because we don't sell it here at Karatbars. That's what's so great about this opportunity. We're not asking you to look at this opportunity and join our network of gold wholesalers because we're out here wholesaling gold. That's not what we do. We just acquire gold for our own families and our own future. But as we share it, it builds a network of gold savers. As we share this opportunity, we start to earn more money. Let me show you why this is powerful. Think about this. In 1920, you could have bought a fancy car for about $645, or you could have taken that same amount of money and bought a kilogram of gold. Fast forward from 1920 to 2020. If you still had that same fancy car, how would you be feeling right about now? What if your grandparents passed down their first car that they purchased, or great-grandparents, and passed it to you? How excited would you be about that? But what if they took that kilogram of gold that they bought in 1920 and passed it along to you? How excited would you be? The reality is you could take that same kilogram of gold that they passed on to you and you could buy a current day fancy car. Fancy that. That's how the wealthy make sure that the next generation doesn't have to start over from scratch. That's how they make sure. See, if for all of your life, every time you had a birthday, somebody gave you a toy, somebody gave you a video game, somebody gave you maybe even a little cash, you know, one of those little envelopes that you shake and, oh, something nice is in it. Where is the value of all of those things right now? What if, just what if your grandparents or some other people in your family, every birthday till you were 18, bought gold and they stored it for you and then they gifted it to you at 18? Would you be in a better financial position today than you were getting those big wheels and video games and gift cards? Absolutely. And this is why that is the case. Gold is going to store its value. Gold is going to appreciate in value. And the dollar, unfortunately, just doesn't buy what it used to. If you're old enough to remember, like me, back in 1998, the 20 had a small face. It was a small face, but it had some bigger buying power, even more so than it does today. So 1998, you could probably get a considerable amount of groceries in your basket. In 2005, you fast forward a little bit, they changed the face of the 20. They had to do something because the basket was getting smaller. You walk into a supermarket some years later and you got less. Now in 2020, you walk into a supermarket with $20, you must be going in there just to buy your hand sanitizer or the toilet tissue because somebody told you they're on the shelves right now. Hurry and get here. But you don't even need a basket for $20. So the purchasing power of a dollar goes down. So I'm gonna give you a secret. You don't need to save 2 or 3 times your salary, as we're told, and put your money away and save it for a rainy day, because that's a losing proposition. Just by saving it means you're losing it. What you need to be doing is working to put 2 or 3 times your salary away for a sunny day. A sunny day. That's what you've got to think about. There's going to be an opportunity, as in this one, that's going to come across your desk that you need to be in a financial position to take advantage of. Money is not a crutch that you save for a rainy day just in case something bad happens. Money is a tool. And we talked about this. A tool to do what? To generate more money. So let's talk about this. Let's really get into how you can learn to do this. The first thing you've got to do in order for you to build wealth is you got to pay yourself first. That's a secret of the wealthy, different than the poor and the middle class. Most people who are living check to check, these people, again, no knock on it, but people who don't have a wealth building system, when they lost their job, they lost their revenue. And so why did this happen? Because when they get their money, they spend it first. And they spend it not necessarily just on frivolous things, but sometimes they spend it on necessities. And then they save if there's anything left. But the rich and wealthy do that in the reverse order. As soon as they get paid, money comes out that's used to generate more money. So you have to use your money to create more revenue, to create more money. So the first thing you have to do is save it, invest it, put it into something that's going to come back to you. And that's what we mean by circulate. So that's how the wealthy do it, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to show you how to do it. Our business model is simple. You're going to start your own business that has tax benefits. You're going to save yourself first. by acquiring gold, and gold is outpacing inflation. It's got a historic value and will continue to. And you're going to build a network of gold savers, a network of people who are looking to better their best. And here's how this happens. You're going to learn simple steps in this business that anybody can duplicate. We're not talking about a complex thing here that you've got to have advanced degrees for or advanced education for. No, we're going to show you a nice systematic way of doing this. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to help you create financial security. You're going to have financial independence. We're going to give you a way to hedge your financial position in times of crisis. And guess what? It can be free. It can start off free. You can create a gold savings account for free. So how do you do that? You're going to maximize our compensation plan by creating leverage, ladies and gentlemen. And what is leverage? So sometimes we throw that term around and not everybody understands what leverage is. So leverage is utilizing other people's time, energy, and resources for your gain. Using other people's time, energy, and resources for your gain. So think about what leverage is. Leverage is allowing somebody else's brilliance, somebody else's backbone, their hard work to generate money for you. And the reality is that's what the wealthy strive to do. And either you have leverage or you are being leveraged. See, when I talk to people and we talk about finances, I love for people to tell me how much money they make. They get excited. Wow, I make X amount annually. Well, that's great. But the question I have for you is how much money does your money make? Or how much money do you make when you're not working? And this is why you have to have leverage. The second thing is exponential growth. Getting to a point where you can't stop yourself from making money. Would you be excited about that? Of course you would. J. Paul Getty was excited about it. And he said, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts rather than 100% of my own. And that is leverage at its best, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's a little disclaimer as we start to unpack the money and we start to wrap this up. We are not financial advisors. This presentation is not designed to give forecasts or financial advice. The following examples are just calculations and illustrations to show you what's possible. It is by no stretch a guarantee of income. So let's talk about our compensation plan. We talked about how many different ways we get taxed. So now let's start to increase how many different ways we get paid. So as you can see here, we get paid in over 7 different ways. Now we're not gonna talk about all 7, but we're gonna break down a few of these simple to understand plans, and let's go into it. So the first one we're gonna unpack is the unilevel bonus. You can start this from the free position. What does that mean? That means you can just set up a free account for yourself and you can just start to save gold. And you can share this with others. You can set up a free account. You can get back with the person that invited you. They will share a link with you, show you how to get started for free. And you can just decide that you want to save in gold. And that's great. But here's what's going to happen. I guarantee you, as you start to watch your gold portfolio grow, you're going to want to share this with others. And you can receive unilevel bonuses as you share this with others, all the way up to 6%. I mean, just think about how powerful that is. So as others start to share in this opportunity, you have the ability to receive leveraged compensation. That is amazing. The next thing we're going to talk about, let's look at the dual team system. The dual team system is another component of our compensation model, okay? The dual system allows you to acquire a business package to get started. Now, this is a one-time acquisition, this package, to get yourself started. You're going to acquire goods and services, gold for a lot of people. Maybe it's our phones or our laptops, and we've got other technical advances that you may even want to purchase. You're going to share this opportunity with others and let people find out where their comfort or their interest lies. And guess what? You get paid to teach other partners how to duplicate the same system. So it's a very easy system to do. So let's look at what that looks like. You refer somebody. So we talked about unilevel bonuses, direct commissions. How does that look? That means as you refer people specifically, directly, you get a compensation override off of referring them. All right, so let me give you an example. Generations, as on the screen. You introduce this opportunity to me. I'm in your first generation. I go, wow, this is great. I'm going to get started. Well, guess what? When I get started and I select which package makes the most sense for me, then you get a 10% commission based on the package level that I select. I'm going to think that's fantastic. It's like, wow, you referred me. I spent money and got a package and you got a referral commission. Show me how to do that. So when I do that, I'm going to talk to somebody that I know. They're going to decide on the package level. I'll receive a 10% direct commission. But guess what? Because you referred me, that's your second generation person. So that second generation would pay you a 3% override. You maybe never even met that person. And then when my referral sponsors somebody so that they can get a 10% direct commission, I would get a 3% direct commission override in that instance, and you would get a 2%. So we get 3 levels deep of direct commission overrides. And let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, why this is exponential growth. Because you could have in your first generation as many people as you so desire. There's no cap, there's no limit. And then as those people start to introduce this to other people, you can't even stop yourself from making money. I've never seen a compensation model that allows people to get an override on direct sponsorship. I've never seen it. That's historical, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about that later. So then we move on to the dual team bonus. Dual team bonus is one of everybody's favorites because that's really exponential growth. That's when you set up 2 teams, and every time, and the 2 teams, you decide who goes on which side, the left or the right team. But every time your team gets 25 points on one side or units and 50 units on the other side, it's going to spark a bonus. Now, everything that happens within the Karatbars universe has units attached to it. So if somebody gets a package, a business package to get started, they're going to be units. If they're going to acquire gold, it's going to be units. If they're looking at a laptop because they like to get a Karatbars voice over blockchain laptop, then it's units attached to it. So every time you've got 25 units that hit on one side and 50 units that hit on another team, you're going to get a dual team payout. How much is that payout? Well, that is dependent on which package that you chose. So let's look at the packages: bronze, silver, gold, and VIP. Every time you get that dual team payout, if you are a VIP, that's going to be 80 euros, almost the equivalent of 100 US dollars. Okay. And if you got the bronze package, that's going to be every time you've got 25 units on one side and 50 on the other, that equates to about 40 euros. Okay. Or maybe $50 US dollars. So the question is, how much do you want to get paid? It just depends on your level. You can get these payouts through infinity. That means if you've got 50,000 people on one team and 100,000 people on the other team, and the last person who just got started gets a package, well, all of those units go through the entire 50,000 people or 100,000 people through infinite levels. What if you had 100,000 people contributing to your income? How happy would you be? See, that's why they call me Mr. Outstanding, because every time somebody asks me how am I doing, I'm going outstanding. I'm better than happy. Some of you guys are like, I'm okay. Things are all right. I'm so different day, whatever cliche you come up with. Listen, when they ask me how am I doing, I'm like, Karatbars has me outstanding. So my wish for you is that you too can become outstanding, because when you've got thousands, hundreds of thousands, they've got people right now that you'll hear from later today. If you log in to wbwevents.com, that got thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that are part of their organization, hundreds of thousands of people contributing to your income. Wouldn't you like to hear from those people? Sure you would. Because here's what happens. Once you get started, and as you start to get your packages have a lot of value included in them. One of the most beautiful things is the gold. So if you start with the multi-gold package 7, this is a one-time package that you get. It's going to have 15 grams of gold in it. It's going to have 12 discount cards. Those discount cards will allow you to bless other people up with a discount when they get their packages. So you can give them a 10% discount. You're going to have 12 of those cards. Those cards are going to help you give discounts to other people. You're going to be able to start to pass this along. You get paid in commissions in gold. So as people get started, they pick a package, you're going to have cash gold commissions. Again, you get 7 levels deep if you have a package level 7. If you have a package level 6, you get 7 levels deep, generations deep. So as you sponsor people and they sponsor people and those people sponsor people and more people are joining your organization, you get paid not only in direct commissions, not only in dual team bonus units, payouts, but you also get cash that you can convert, or cash gold that you can convert into cash. We've got long-term incentives, ladies and gentlemen, that start from a bag and go all the way up to a villa. So as your unit your team, your organization starts to acquire gold, the company gives you long-term incentives. In between a bag and a villa are Rolex watches, Mercedes Benz, all kinds of fun things that we all can aspire to. We get paid every single week on our corporate MasterCard. That MasterCard is yours, it's personalized, it's to you. It gets paid in euros, but because it's a world MasterCard, it will convert to every world currency, ladies and gentlemen. You're in the right place and at the right time, and you've got to decide that you want to make a decision to get started. And typically there are three types of reactions. The first type of reaction says, listen, Mr. Gamble, you could have stopped a long time ago. I'm ready to get gold, just show me how. The second type of reaction, the person says, well, you know what? I'm excited, but I've got some questions. If you get my questions answered, there's a good chance I could get started. So you get back with the person who invited you to this. You get your questions answered. Or maybe you plug into the panel that's going to be before you at wbwevents.com right after this and get your questions answered. Or the third type of reaction says, you know what? This is not for me, but I would like to start a free account, and I certainly would like to support the person who introduced this opportunity to me. So get back with the Karatbars affiliate that invited you to this. I want to be the first one to welcome you to this, ladies and gentlemen, and let's just make sure we take advantage of this opportunity and we come out of this crisis more financially prepared and better equipped in the future. I'd like to thank you. My name is Cameron Gamble, and I'll see you on the other side. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Outstanding, for that outstanding presentation. If you are a guest today, get back with the person who invited you to this webinar and get the information you need to take advantage of this life-changing opportunity. You still have time to participate in the upcoming segment of our global event. Go to www.wbwevents.com right now to reserve your space. The registration window will close soon. We'll see you online in just a moment.